Hello, you guys. The next few videos will be about this book, No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover. I'm a big fan of this book. I've recommended it to so many men, and I'm reading it to make videos, but also for myself, because sometimes I'm a people pleaser. There's a little bit of people pleaser in me as well. And so Dr. Robert Glover has a PhD in marriage and family therapy with 30 years of experience in clinical work with countless men and women. He is also a recovering nice guy. He lives in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and he's married. So I've watched his videos. He gives lots of talks, and he also has a men's group. So you might want to check him out. So some people are very confused by the term nice guy, and the way that this word is used, a nice guy, people pleaser, is someone who's wearing a mask because they're so filled with shame about who they are that they hide it and cover it up and try to be who you want them to be. So they're very inauthentic, they're wounded, they're not healthy people. They are calculating and they're manipulative and they're rage-filled with this exterior that if I'm just nice enough and I can manipulate you through my niceness to give you the impression that I am who you want me to be, that I can please you, then you will give me what I want. Then you will like me. It's manipulative. They're not aware of it, and they're not manipulative in the way that an abuser is or controller or narcissist, but they're just as destructive to a relationship. And I personally get very repulsed by these nice guys because they're not kind from, this is what I want to do this for you because I enjoy it. It's more like, if I am who I want you to be, then you give me what I want. So they're calculating and they're manipulative, and you never know who they are. So let's talk about how they got that way and what are the characteristics of it, because I find these guys utterly repulsive. And if you're married to a nice guy, you will either find him repulsive or you will be mad at him because he has no backbone. He doesn't stand for anything. He's like a chameleon. He's not a real man. I have a bit of nice girl stuff in me because women are raised to be nice. Like, we're all kind of raised to be nice. So I'm looking at what I can do, what I can get out of this book for myself as I'm rereading this book now. Okay, everything a nice guy does is calculated to try to win approval or avoid disapproval. Can you imagine being on a date with a guy who's trying to win your approval or avoid your disapproval? That's why I got so annoyed with that guy that I went on the date with, the people pleaser guy. Nice guys, since they do not believe they're okay just as they are, they see any mistake or perceived flaw as proof that they're bad and unlovable. So I want to just read for a few things from this book. And so it's not just their childhood that sets them up for this. It's also these 5 decades of dramatic social change that have set up men to be conditioned to seek the approval of others. That man is not a leader. He's not an adult. He's an approval seeker. That's what they are. So we're not talking about kindness, we're talking about approval seekers. That's what they are. Shame-filled approval seekers. They're concerned about looking good and doing it right. They're happiest when they're making others happy. They avoid conflict like the plague, and they will go to great lengths to avoid upsetting anyone. In general, they're peaceful and generous. They're especially concerned about pleasing women and being different from other men. In a nutshell, nice guys believe that if they are good, giving, and caring, they will in return be happy, loved, and fulfilled. But these men struggle in vain to experience the happiness they so desperately crave and believe they deserve. It's because they have believed a myth The nice guy syndrome represents a belief that if nice guys are good, they will be loved, get their needs met, and live a problem-free life. However, this strategy doesn't work, so they try harder. And they feel more and more helpless and resentful. So they're often anything but nice. Dr. Robert Glover says that his exploration of the nice guy syndrome grew out of his own frustration of trying to do it right, yet never getting back what he believed he deserved. He was the typical sensitive new age guy, and he was proud of it. He believed that he was one of the nicest guys you would ever meet, but he wasn't happy. By the way, he wrote another book, which is about dating, which is super good also, which is like, nice guys never say no to a second date, but a man in charge of himself will right away notice if this isn't a good fit. He has no trouble saying no. So, the nice guy syndrome. He gives some examples of nice guys, but here are the characteristics of a nice guy. They're givers. They like to fix and caretake. They seek approval from others. Everything that a nice guy does or says at some level is calculated to gain someone's approval or avoid disapproval. This is especially true in their relationships with women. I was reading a related book, Why Men Like Bitches, and that's for women to not be people pleasers. So that's kind of what encouraged me to make that video last night about like, this is why I think all these single men are lame. It's like, that's just how I think. So I'm just going to say it. Okay, nice guys avoid conflict. And this is very bad in relationships, guys. They avoid doing things that might rock the boat or upset anyone. If you're afraid to take on a woman, if you're afraid to deal with the situation, you're just a freaking coward. It's a turnoff. I'm so annoyed with these people that think that people pleasers are great. They're not. You have to be willing to take something on. You have to be okay with someone getting mad at you. Nice guys believe they must hide their perceived flaws and mistakes. These men are afraid that others will get mad at them, shame them, or leave them if some mistake or shortcoming is exposed. I have a little bit of that in me. You know, let's be honest. I think that most of us are going to have a little bit of this in ourselves, women included. Nice guys seek the right way to do things. Nice guys believe there is a key to having a happy, problem-free life. If they can only figure out the right way to do something, nothing will ever go wrong. Nice guys repress their feelings. That's another thing about these nice guys. They're not honest. They're inauthentic. They tend to analyze rather than feel. They may see feelings as a waste of time and energy. Yeah, a guy disconnected from his feelings is no good. Nice guys often try to be different from their fathers. Many nice guys report having unavailable, absent, passive, angry, philandering, or alcoholic fathers. So they want to be 180 degrees different from dad. And so they become people pleasers. Nice guys are often more comfortable relating to women than to men. They have few male friends. They seek the approval of women, and they convince themselves they're different from other men. They believe they are not selfish, angry, or abusive, traits that they link to other men. Nice guys have difficulty making their needs a priority. They feel it's selfish to put their needs first. Nice guys often make their partner their emotional center. They report they're only happy if their partner is happy. Therefore, and this is the downside, they will often focus tremendous energy on their intimate relationships. Now, how can being nice be such a bad thing? A lot of nice guys have trouble grasping the depths and seriousness of their beliefs and their behaviors. The term nice guy is actually a misnomer because nice guys are often anything but nice. They are dishonest. Let's go through these. Nice guys are dishonest. They hide their mistakes. They avoid conflict. They say what they think people want to hear, and they repress their feelings. Nice guy, these traits make nice guys fundamentally dishonest. Nice guys are secretive because they're so needy for approval, they'll hide anything they believe might upset anyone. Nice guys are compartmentalized. They separate contradictory pieces of information about themselves into individual compartments in their mind. Therefore, a married man can create his own definition of fidelity, which allows him to deny that he had an affair with his secretary because he never put his penis in her vagina. So that one I don't know as much, but nice guys are manipulative for sure. Definitely they're dishonest, they're secretive, you don't know what they're thinking and feeling, and they're manipulative because since they don't make their needs a priority and they have difficulty asking for what they want, they feel powerless, so they use manipulation to get what they want. They're manipulative. And they will not tell you what they really think, which is manipulative. Nice guys are controlling. They want to keep the world smooth and peaceful, so they try to control the things and the people around them. Controlling. I might do a little bit of that. When people tell me that they're upset about something, I try to make them feel better instead of being okay with them being upset. So, I'm trying to see a little bit of myself in this too. Nice guys give to get. They tend to be generous giving, but their giving often is unconscious and unspoken strings attached. They want to be appreciated. They want some kind of reciprocation. They want someone to stop being angry at them. So they report feeling frustrated or resentful as a result of giving so much while seemingly getting so little in return. And that's kind of related to the nice guy who takes a woman to dinner on the first date because he thinks he's got to do this for the woman. And then when he doesn't get sex, he's all pissed off. That's giving to get. Okay. That can also be like a controlling guy who does that. But nice guys do that too. If I take her to dinner, she'll like me. Nice guys are passive aggressive. They tend to express their frustration and resentment in indirect, roundabout, and not so nice ways. Let's see if you find yourself in this. These are examples of being passive aggressive. Being unavailable, forgetting, being late, not following through, not being able to get an erection, climaxing too quickly, and repeating the same annoying behaviors even when they have promised to never do them again. Nice guys are full of rage. Although they deny frequently ever getting angry, a lifetime of frustration and resentment creates a pressure cooker of repressed rage deep inside this man. This rage tends to erupt at the most unexpected and seemingly inappropriate times. Nice guys are addictive. The addictive behavior serves the purpose of relieving stress, altering moods, or medicating pain. One of the most common addictive behaviors for nice guys is sexual compulsiveness. Nice guys have difficulty setting boundaries. They have a hard time saying no, stop, or I'm not going to. They often feel like helpless victims, and they see the other person as the cause of the problems they're experiencing. I love a man who gives me a good boundary, because then I know who you are, where you stand. But I've had times where I've had trouble setting boundaries. That's something I'm also working on for myself. I've had times I've felt like a victim, So this is good for women also. But the nice guy has a hard time saying no because we'll get to that. They're afraid that you're going to get mad or leave them or you won't love them anymore, Nice guys are frequently isolated. They want to be loved, but their behaviors make it difficult for people to get close to them. Like the guy I went out with. I didn't even want to go out with him again. I don't even know who you are. You got no backbone. You're just like a mop of a guy when it comes right down to it, despite his good physique. Nice guys are often, not always, often attracted to people in situations that need fixing. That's a result of his childhood conditioning, his need to look good, or his request for approval. So they spend most of their time putting out fires and managing crises. This is the guy that's always there to help you. Oh, I'll help you do that. I'll help you do that. I'll help you do that. Oh, I don't mind taking a week off work to help you with that. Oh, I'll help you with that. No problem. when he really doesn't want to. But some of this is subconsciously. They don't realize they don't really want to. They're just like, oh yeah, if I'm nice, then people will like me. Nice guys frequently have problems in intimate relationships. Though they put a tremendous emphasis on this part of their lives, their intimate relationships are frequently a source of struggle because 3 reasons. 1, they're often terrible listeners because they're too busy trying to figure out how to defend themselves or fix the other person's problem. See, they're not embodied. They're in their head out here trying to figure out how to please you, so they can't listen and be present. Number 2, because of their fear of conflict, they're frequently dishonest and rarely able to work all the way through a problem. And of course, they don't bring up problems either. They hide when they're upset. And number 3, it is not unusual for nice guys to form relationships with partners whom they believe to be projects or diamonds in the rough. And then the final problem with nice guys is they have issues with their sexuality. Though most guys deny having problems with sex, I've yet to meet one who isn't either dissatisfied with his sex life or has a sexual dysfunction like erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, or has sexually acted out through affairs, prostitution, pornography, and compulsive masturbation. Nice guys are only relatively successful. Even though they're talented, intelligent, mildly successful, they fail to live up to their full potential because they've shut down all their aliveness. They're just have cast away who they really are. They're living a mask of a life. So, people think that he's such a nice guy. So the solution is not in being mean. The solution is being an integrated male. Okay? It's not about becoming a mean guy. It's about becoming an integrated male. Integrated means you can expect all aspect of oneself. Being integrated means being able to accept all aspect of oneself. An integrated man is able to embrace everything that makes him unique. His power, his assertiveness, his courage, and his passion, as well as his imperfections, his mistakes, and his dark side. These are some of the attributes of an integrated male. So I'll just hold up the book. You can take a screenshot. Because I can't, I don't want to read all of this book. The video will be way too long, and it wouldn't, I'm sure it's an audiobook. You can buy it. Now, let's talk about paradigms and beliefs. A paradigm operates at an unconscious level, and it determines our attitudes and behaviors. And it kind of reminds me of Carl Jung when he was saying that until the unconscious is made conscious, it will rule our life, and we will call it fate. Like, why do I always get myself into these type of situations and attract these kinds of people? It's a paradigm. It's an unconscious belief. The paradigm serves as a filter through which we process life experiences. The data that does not fit our paradigm is screened out and never reaches our conscious mind. Information that does fit our paradigm is magnified. Okay? So most paradigms are developed when we're young, naive, and relatively powerless. They are often based on the inaccurate interpretations of childhood experiences. So they're really evaluated or updated. And unfortunately, we believe our paradigms, even when they're wrong. So this is the working paradigm of the nice guy. This is what he deep down believes subconsciously, and he's not aware of it, and he lives his life according to this unconscious belief. If I can hide my flaws and become what I think others want me to be, then I will be loved, get my needs met, and have a problem-free life. If I can hide my flaws and become what I think others want me to be, then I will be loved, get my needs met, and have a problem-free life. Notice he's not being himself. He's not asking for what he wants. He's just hiding his flaws and becoming what he thinks others want him to be, like a chameleon, like a mask, like a guy who's charming, a mask. And even though this is ineffective, when it doesn't work, what does the nice guy do? He tries harder. I just got to try harder. Now, he does talk in this first chapter about the recovery from the nice guy syndrome is dependent on revealing yourself to a safe, trusted person so that you find safe people to assist you in this process. And he does offer therapy, I believe, and he has a men's group. And I am a big believer in men's groups. There are other organizations that have men's group, like Dad Starting Over, Connor Beaton, who wrote the book Man Talks. He has a men's group. I don't know how good any of these men's groups are, but apparently also Dr. Robert Glover has a men's group. So I recommend that you check out a bunch of men's groups, those online, those in your area. I saw a PBS show the other day about a gentleman who started a Black professional men's group in Arizona. And all these guys were talking about how much it's made their relationships better. It was the guy who started, it was his wife that encouraged him to do it. It's very good for men to be around other men, and also to get over all this. It's good to be around men that are a safe space where you can share what your fears, you know. Now, how did the nice guy come to be? How did the nice guy come to be? It came from childhood, because what they learned in childhood is that the way to get their needs met as children was to become who, it was a way of dealing with not getting their needs met as children. Okay, every child has abandonment experiences, but okay. So children, let me start over on this part. And I'm not perfect, so there it is. I'm not stopping. Okay. You have to understand two things about children. They're very dependent, and the child's greatest fear is abandonment. Number two, children are ego-centered. They think they're the center of the universe, and so everything that happens is because of them. Therefore, whenever a child experiences abandonment, he will think he's the cause. And here are some examples of his children are abandoned. He cries, no one holds him. He's hungry, no one feeds him. A parent hits him. A parent shames him. A parent gets angry at him. A parent doesn't want him. A parent uses him to gratify his or her own needs, emotional needs. This is very common, the parentified child, emotional incest. A parent puts unrealistic expectations on him. You got to be this person so I look good. You know? He's lonely and no one pays attention to him. Now, every child has abandonment experiences, and people learn to deal with that in different ways. And one of the ways that people deal with it is to become the nice guy, because these abandonment experiences create a belief in some young children that it's not acceptable for them to be who they are, just as they are. So they have a thing called toxic shame. It's a belief that they are bad, defective, unlovable. It's not about a belief that you do bad things. It's that you're bad. You're unlovable deep down inside. That's a very painful feeling to have. I think a good shadow work exercise is to come in touch with that part of ourselves that is unlovable, because I think all of us have the shadow, parts of ourselves that we don't think are lovable, that we kind of hide away. Like, I shouldn't be selfish, you know, or I shouldn't be too sexual, or I shouldn't be angry. I think everybody has these kind of things. So it's good to come in touch with that. However, a nice guy has a lot. That all of him is bad. All of him is bad. All of him is defective. All of him is unlovable. Not just certain feelings, you know. So, as a result of this, the children develop survival mechanisms to try to cope with this and prevent this from happening again, and to hide their shame from others. When questioned about their childhood, and I've done coaching with people, and they always protect, even the people pleasers, they are very protective of their parents. Oh, I had a great childhood. Mom and dad were great. I was a Leave It to Beaver family. You know, even I don't even want to admit all the bad things about my mom. It's very important, everyone, that we look at where our parents let us down as part of adulting. And the way that I was finally able to do it, I made a list of my mom's. I already know my dad's bad qualities, but with my mom, it was harder. So I made a list of all of her good qualities, and I'm like, okay, now I can put the bad ones, just so I could see them. You got to be able to do that. Nice guys do not. They're in a fantasy land of their perfect childhood. They learn to hide their flaws and try to become what they believed others wanted them to be. These factors indicate that at some point in their early lives, their circumstances were less than ideal. And so some children learn that someone else's needs are more important than their own. And here are some examples how little boys become nice guys, okay? For example, if you have an angry, critical parent who communicates that you're not okay just as you are, if you had a mom who would not intervene when your dad lashed out at you, it implies that you were not worth protecting. If you came to believe you had to be different from your father to be seen as a good man and be loved by your mother, to be valued for always doing it right and never being a problem, this communicates that you're only lovable when you live up to your parents' expectations. Believing that your parents were perfect and always feeling flawed and inadequate compared to them. If your parents provide no guidance, nurturing, or support, it communicates you were little value to them. And this people pleaser I'm talking about, if your parents abandoned you as a child, obviously they didn't love you, so you become a people pleaser. You don't want to cause a problem to anyone. Okay, this is how it happened. That's why I'm saying, do not. I thought this guy had done all this therapy that it would help him, but it wasn't enough. He was still a people. Well, okay, so this person had a lot of rage. He worked through his rage in therapy, which was great. That's why I went on a second date, but he was still a people pleaser, and he admitted it. And now you can see that people pleasers are not people who are just out giving out of their joy. They're manipulative because they're not comfortable. And this guy was not comfortable with his sexuality at all. No, and I'm done. I am done with guys who are ashamed about their sexuality. Now I can get into the religion topic. You should not masturbate. I would never date a guy who will not masturbate or who won't ejaculate because he's spilling his seed. That is shame. That is not healthy. I am so done with guys like that. No. No. Anyway, so shame, regardless of whether they were abused, abandoned, neglected, shamed, used, smothered, controlled, or objectified, all nice guys internalized the same belief. It was bad or dangerous for them to be just who they were. If you believe that it is bad to be who you are, it is dangerous to be who you are. And I have a little parts of that in myself too. That's why I'm, this book is going to be good for me. So, like, for me, it's about my sexuality. That's where I notice it, but it could also be, like, in not really knowing exactly when I interact with people where to be, like, caring and where to be, like, I don't really want to deal with you right now. But anyway, so the child believes that there must be something that caused these things to happen. So, he concludes, there must be something wrong with me because Dad yells at me. I can't make Mom happy. When I cry, no one comes. Mom has that look on her face. Or, I'm only good enough and lovable when I'm different from Dad. Mom needs me when I don't make mistakes, when I get good grades, when I'm not like my brother, when I don't cause any problems, when I'm happy. So nice guys develop survival mechanisms to help them do three important things: to cope with the pain and terror caused by their abandonment, to prevent their abandonment from occurring again, and to hide their toxic shame from themselves and others. Like I said before, if I can hide my flaws and become what I think others want me to be, then I will be loved, get my needs met, and have a problem-free life. And then he goes into why the baby boom generation has more people pleasers, because we had a lot of fathers, more single moms, and moved from a farm life to an urban life, because men, when they lived in the rural areas, they were working with their dads and uncles and cousins, working on the farm, working whatever outside, manufacturing, or whatever they were doing. And now in the urban areas, there's that kind of loss. The female-dominant educational system, the women's liberation movement, which was telling men in a social way that women don't really need men, and men who were already conditioned to look to women for definition because they're more single mom household, they were equally, especially susceptible to these messages. Nice guys prevent themselves from getting what they want in life, and that's where they're so miserable, because they're seeking the approval of others rather than of their own. They try to hide their flaws and mistakes, so that takes a lot of energy to try to cover that up rather than just owning it. They put other people's needs and wants before their own, so they're running on empty. I'm adding some words here. Sacrificing their own personal power and playing the role of a victim. They're always a victim. They're never getting enough sex. They're never appreciated enough. Women don't want them because they're freaking doormats. They dissociate themselves from other men, their own masculine energy. They co-create relationships that are less than satisfying, and then they stay. They create situations in which they do not have very much good sex. If you're stuck in a bad sex marriage, that's a people-pleasing part of you. Do not put up with that. I would not put up with that ever again. Ever again. Failing to live up to their full potential. So everything that a nice guy does is consciously or unconsciously calculated to gain someone's approval or to avoid disapproval. There is no authenticity there. None. It's calculated. It's manipulative. It's approval seeking. Now, and these men are filled with a lot of rage, especially against women, these damn women that don't give them sex. Have you ever thought what a turnoff it is to try and fuck a people pleaser? That's why I can't. They're so repulsive to me, I can't be near them at all. But though most nice guys claim to love women, the truth is most of these men have tremendous rage toward women. This is because people tend to eventually despise whatever we make into our God. When our God fails to respond in the ways we expect, we either blindly intensify our acts of worship or lash out in righteous anger. When nice guys put a woman on a pedestal and attempt to win her approval, sooner or later this adoration will turn to rage when this object of worship fails to live up to his expectations. Okay? Nice guy, everything a nice guy does is calculate to try to win approval or disapproval. Since they do not believe they are okay just as they are, they see any mistake or perceived flaw as proof that they are bad and unlovable. They believe that if anyone sees how bad they really are, they will be hurt, shamed, or abandoned. They are cover-up artists. They're con artists, frankly. Not the kind of pickup con artists, but con artists nonetheless. Maybe that's what I'll call this video. Nice guys are actually con artists. You know? They believe they must hide or distract attention from their shortcomings. And their need to hide is often the most pronounced in areas that are just part of being human and alive. They hide that they're sexual. They hide that they have bodily functions. They hide that they're getting older. They hide that they're losing their hair. They hide that they have needs, that they're imperfect. They build walls that prevent others from getting too close. If someone gets angry and a nice guy points out his flaws, his shame will be triggered, and he'll turn the tables and tell you, has an unconscious strategy of doing shame dumping. He can shift his focus to the other person's badness. Mature people take responsibility for their actions, but nice guys try to fix situations by trying to get the other person to stop being upset. And they're kind of called Teflon men because they have an invisible force field that keeps people from being able to get close to them. People are not drawn to others who are like seemingly perfect. People are drawn to shared interests, shared problems, and an individual's life energy. So that's where I'm going to stop for now. And in the next part of the video that I make on the No More Mr. Nice Guy, we're going to talk about things that the nice guy can do to put his own needs first. That's another problem, though, because some people are taught it is bad. God will punish you if you take care of yourself. There's a lot of religious indoctrination in our society. You have to take care of yourself first. Just think of yourself as in a plane and the oxygen mask come down. You've got to put your oxygen mask on first, and then you can do for other people. And that's what the nice guys are not doing. They're hiding who they are. You got to take care of yourself, and there are a lot of ways that you can take care of yourself. And taking care of yourself does not mean that you're hurting other people. Okay, so that's going to be the next video. I forgot what I was going to call this video. I think I said that they're actually filled with rage. Because they're trying to get approval and they don't get it, so they're actually filled with rage. Oh, I forgot what I was going to call this video. I have to go back and see. And thank you for watching.